Throughout the Bible, there are moments where people spoke boldly, asked difficult questions, and even challenged God. They were not perfect, but their stories show how real and intense their encounters with God became. Today, we look at several figures who questioned, wrestled, complained, or challenged what God said or did. Adam and Eve, questioning God's command. Genesis 3, 1-6. Adam and Eve listened to the serpent's question. Did God really say? And began to doubt the command God had given. Eve looked at the fruit, decided it was desirable, and they both disobeyed by eating it. When confronted, Adam blamed Eve, and Eve blamed the serpent, and the result was their removal from the garden. Cain, complaining about his punishment. Genesis 4, 13-14. After killing Abel, Cain heard God's judgment and complained that the punishment was too great. He feared others would kill him as he wandered. God responded by placing a mark of protection on Cain so no one would harm him. Abraham, challenging God over justice. Genesis 18, 23-25. When Abraham learned that Sodom and Gomorrah might be destroyed, he questioned whether God would sweep away the righteous with the wicked. He negotiated down from 50 righteous people to 10, seeking mercy. God listened as Abraham spoke boldly and respectfully. Jacob, wrestling with God. Genesis 32, 24-30. Jacob wrestled through the night with a mysterious being who later proved to be divine. He would not let go until he received a blessing. When the struggle ended, he was given a new name, Israel, and knew he had encountered God. Moses, questioning God's leadership burden. Numbers 11, 11-15. Overwhelmed by the responsibility of leading Israel, Moses asked God why the burden was so heavy. He even said he would rather die than continue like this. God later provided help by appointing 70 elders to share the load. Israelites in the wilderness, complaining and doubting. Exodus 16, 2-3. The Israelites complained repeatedly as they traveled through the desert, asking why they had been brought out of Egypt. They grumbled about hunger, water, and danger, saying it would have been better to die in Egypt. Each time, God provided what they needed. Job, demanding answers from God. Job 13:3. Job suffered deep loss and could not understand why. Instead of remaining quiet, he declared he wanted to argue his case with God. Later, God spoke from a whirlwind, and Job realized the greatness and mystery of God's ways. King Saul, troubled by God's silence. 1 Samuel 28:6. In a time of crisis, Saul sought answers from God but heard nothing. Desperate and afraid, he turned to a forbidden medium at Endor for guidance. This showed how troubled he was when God seemed silent. Jonah, angry at God's mercy. Jonah 4, 1-4. Jonah became angry when God forgave Nineveh after they repented. He said this was why he had not wanted to preach there in the first place and even wished to die rather than see his enemies spared. God asked whether he had any right to be angry. Habakkuk, asking why God allows evil. Habakkuk 1, 2-3. Habakkuk looked at injustice and suffering and asked why God was not stopping it. He wanted to know how long he had to cry for help before God would listen. The book shows his conversation with God, ending in trust despite his questions. These stories show that questioning God is part of real faith. They struggled, but God met them in their questions and listened.